mutual inductance. If two coils are placed nearby, and this is what Faraday did and observed. When two coils are placed nearby and a current is flown in one coil and that current is changing, then the magnetic flux is induced and this magnetic flux is also changing, and this will create EMF in the second coil. Since this leads to a current in the second coil, it will have a reciprocal effect, that is generation of EMF in the first coil. So, there is a mutual effect from first coil to second coil and second coil back to first coil. This is called mutual inductance. Now, this also gives us the principle of transformers. You imagine two coils which are wound on the two arms of a core which is made of iron. Iron we take because it allows a very smooth passage of magnetic flux. Now, if we pass alternating current through one coil which is called a primary winding, then an alternating current will also be generated in the second coil which is called the secondary winding. Now, if the number of loops in the secondary winding is less, then the voltage generated across the secondary coil will also be less, but the current generated will be more, so that the power in the first coil is same as the power in the second coil. Of course, we are neglecting very small energy losses inside the system. So, we find that transformer is a device in which you have been able to transfer electric power from one side to the other side, but with a changed combination of voltage and current. The transformer is called step up or step down transformer, depending on whether the voltage in the secondary circuit is high or low. If it is high, we call it a step up transformer. And this transformer is therefore a very unique way to transfer electric power from one system to another system, and this is what makes the power transmission possible. What you do is that you step up the voltage and thus increase the voltage and reduce the current. Then this electric power you transmit, then the ohmic losses which are due to the passage of current in the conductor will be very low, because you have kept the current very low. Then as you go to the other end, you use a step down transformer and you get a normal 220 volt which we generally use in the household. This is why transmission is done by high tension wires, where the wires are carrying a very high voltage, but a very low current, and therefore, the resistive losses are very low. Now, we also look at another phenomenon called self inductance. Just when the current is passed in one coil, then it is also inducing a current in the secondary winding or the second coil. But what about the coil itself? Some EMF is also induced within the coil, because the flux around this coil is also changing. This phenomenon is called self inductance, and it has the effect of opposing the current which has caused it. So, the net effect of self induction is to offer some kind of resistance to the initial current. This resistance is called inductive resistance or impedance, which is not same as the ohmic resistance which comes due to the flow of current in the wire. And we try to reduce this self inductance by various methods, so that the energy losses within the primary coil are less. Mathematical equation for self inductance is given as V L that is the induced self induction voltage, is equal to L into di by dt, where di by dt is the rate of change of current. L is called the self inductance or the value of inductance of the first coil, and it is measured in Henry. The term inductor is used to describe a circuit element which possesses the property of inductance, and very often the loop of a wire is the most common example of an inductor. In all the circuit diagrams, the figure of a coil is usually used to indicate that there is an inductive component in the circuit. Let us come to formal or mathematical definition of the electromotive force. Inside the source of EMF in open circuit condition, such as the voltaic cell, the electrostatic field created by separation of charges will balance the EMF produced by the chemical reaction. Thus, the EMF has the same value, but opposite sign as the integral of the electric field aligned with the internal path travelled by the charges between the two terminals of the battery. The terminals are represented as A and B. Then mathematically we get the equation epsilon is equal to minus integral from A to B ECS into dl, where ECS is the electrostatic field created by the charge separation and dl is a small section of path from terminal A to terminal B. This equation applies only to the location A and B of the open circuit terminals and inside the source of EMF. For a closed loop, the integral will be 0. However, if the closed path or the closed loop is in presence of a varying magnetic field, then something different will happen. The integral of electric field around the closed loop will be non-zero because there will be an induced EMF. We must remember that the electrostatic field does not contribute to the net EMF around a closed circuit. Now, we come to the Maxwell's equations.